Well, it's a new day, bright and early. We got a lot of rain yesterday, but before I left the other day, I did move all the equipment over here. Got all the excavators, compactor, dump truck, and the dozer here. Kind of puts the 220 and the 550 into perspective, doesn't it? So it rained almost an inch yesterday, and that's why I didn't mess with anything over here. It didn't rain until about lunchtime, but I didn't want to get over here and start digging around and make a real big muddy mess after it rains. So this is the second pond site right here. I have the orange flags marking where the pond outline is going to go. It's not going to be a huge pond, but it's actually going to take a fair amount of dirt to fill in that valley right there. So it's going to kind of come right here, and there's another orange flag right there, come up there, and just kind of go down this edge and then up there towards those stumps over there. So I did come over here before I left and dug some test holes. This side right here doesn't really look like a whole lot of good material at all. Actually it's a lot of topsoil and kind of cruddy stuff. It's pretty decent clay all down that side right there, so we'll strip that first and probably hog that material out and get it transferred down there to the pond dam. All of this right here is just a lot of crud that I think that got pushed off when he cleared all this. So what the game plan for this side is to actually go up here where all the equipment is and cut 4 or 5 feet out of that hillside. There's some real good clay up there. Already dug some test holes, and then use that material for the pond dam for whatever I can't get out of that side, and then dig all this stuff out and haul it up here to replace the material that I took out of the hillside, since this is pretty much topsoil and all that's mud right there. It's wet. There's springs coming out of that hillside. So that is the game plan for this pond. We have 3.5 days before it rains, so the goal is to get this pond probably close to an acre built in 3.5 days. So got a decent little stream flowing through here this morning. As you can tell, when it does rain, there's a fair amount that does flow through here. So we'll leave that open, and then probably after lunchtime, probably put the core trench in and start putting some clay in there. But that's the game plan. I'm gonna get all the equipment started up. I did stay late the other day and got everything fueled and greased, so we can pretty much go straight to work this morning. first thing, I'm gonna go ahead and start stripping this topsoil and mud out of the bottom of the pond, just to try to start exposing some of my clay and everything. There's got to be an old borrow pit or something right here, area filled in, because I just drove right there with this machine and it sunk down like to the top of the track. So I aborted that real quickly and got out of there. In fact, I'm still trying to sink down a little bit, but this is pretty much topsoil, and I think what happened was there was probably a low spot right here, and he just kind of filled in everything with that. So it's not really going to hurt anything. It's inside the pond, other than it's not suitable dirt to build a pond dam out of. So what I'm doing is raking all this down. It's a little steep for the dozer to get on right there, being as wet as it is. I'll get him to strip everything on the uphill side of this, and we'll push it back there for the back side of the dam to start filling in the back slope. And then I will start cutting some of that clay and stockpiling it. We did do our test holes, and there is kind of that rocky stuff down about 4 feet or so, so I'll probably just skim a couple feet off and leave that as a kind of a good layer there, just to make sure nothing leaks down in between it. And then we got plenty of dirt on that hillside I can cut off, and even if that hillside is 2 or 3 feet lower, you really won't notice it. But my plan is to cut all this material right here out and then dump it back on top of the clay that we cut out for, so that there is some good material. Oh boy, we are sinking. See if I can get one more bucket full out here. Soft down here, but this is one heck of a lot of weight right here. It's probably 130-some thousand pounds, and then you put a bucket in there, you're 8 or 10 tons in it. Next thing you know, you got 150,000 pounds of weight sitting on top of some soft ground. So you really got to pay attention, or you really will have a bad day. And I'm trying to avoid that. Come on, we're sliding. That sun coming over that hillside is bright. There we go. Alright, I'm going to cheat a little bit and notch this hillside out just a little bit, so that I'm sitting a little bit more level, and the machine shouldn't slide quite as bad then. But I mean, all this is just, I mean, honestly, this is good stuff for to cover my pit back up. It's just, unfortunately, it's not worth a darn for trying to build this pond. But it'll be a win-win, because that material up there on top of the hill has no topsoil at all, and I don't think it would grow anything. So being able to dump this up there should really help that grow some stuff and stabilize a lot better than what it's doing right now. Alright, well, I'm going to keep cutting some of this material out. In fact, I've already moved a little bit, but I'm going to reset my scales. And that last pond was almost 22,000 tons for what it calculated. We will see about how many tons we move on this one. So we're probably already about 20 tons shy, but 30, but whatever. So every time you hear this machine beep, I'll show you, for example. Get my bucket full, pick up, you heard it beep, 8.64 tons. So it's calculating in the computer, and when you dump it, it'll add it to that previous 9 tons to, that was, those 2 scoops for 17.69 tons. That's pretty much how the scales work on this machine. So I may have to kind of strip some of that over there with the excavator as well. I'll just wait and see when we get over there. But that stuff should be relatively drier than this, and I can use it back there on the slope. My problem is this stuff right here is pretty wet, so if I try and take it back there, it's just gonna be a mess. So let me notch out a little bit more, and so I got all the topsoil stripped on that side of the pond, and I've come over here to this one, and I'm taking it, cutting it back. It's a little bit steep for the dozer to push right here. It keeps trying to slide, so I can cut it and just transfer it. We'll get that pushed back there for the back slope of the pond dam, and then figure out if I want to go ahead and start cutting clay out here, or see what I got. So now he's up there stripping all that wet material off of where I'm going to get all the nice clay for the core trench and majority of the dam. But while he's doing that, I'm going to run down here and cut out for the pond on this side right here and just kind of get whatever material that I can round up from here and kind of see what it looks like all mixed together. If it doesn't look suitable, I can at least use it on the back slope and kind of front slope as we build the pond dam up to kind of ration our good material that's up there. And once I mix it all together, I think it's going to be pretty good where I can use it for maybe this side of the pond dam. So now I'm working on transferring some of this clay down. Honestly, it's just easy enough to just scoop it up and transfer it down. Kind of building me a little ledge here to sit on as I go down. I'm just skimming a little bit off. There's some of that kind of rocky clay down there below it, and I don't really want to get into much of that, so I'm just kind of cutting a couple feet off of it. The pond is deep enough where I don't really need to cut it out for the depth other than right here at the shoreline. So that is the plan for this side, just to make a pass while I'm coming down here and get whatever material I can get. And that is that much less that I have to cut out of the hillside up there. And I'll probably work on this for about another 20 minutes. We'll go get some lunch. I'll come back. It's kind of wet down there, so I didn't cut the core trench in yet because there's a lot of runoff still kind of coming out of the hill. And I'll get back and cut that in, and I've loosened up some clay up there, so as soon as I start cutting that, he can start pushing that in place, and we'll get that compacted in and kind of get our dam down there in the lower section up out of the bottom of the pond. That way anything that kind of leaches out of these hillsides is not sitting there saturating the dirt I'm getting for the core trench, or putting in for the core. Now it's time to start digging the core trench for this pond, and what that does is it locks the new dam into the existing ground, and it cuts off any roots or stuff that could possibly, you know, cause it to leak under the pond dam. So I know there's that rock stuff down here, so I'm going to cut it down until I hit that, and then that's about really all I can do. We'll get that compacted in, and I got that loose clay up there ready, so you can start pushing that down here and getting this filled in. We will get the bottom down here packed in place and start building the pond dam. him get that dug out. It's a little wet down here. Let him get that filled in before I cut this out. That way it doesn't fill up with water. Because we're trying to eliminate mud, not make more. So a lot of people think that it looks stupid digging out, you know, perfectly good compacted material and putting it back in there, but it really eliminates that possibility of something being able to kind of wick through underground. Dirt down here, so I'm going to start laying it down here that way. Chunky clay here. All that kind of breaks up when you drive over it, but it comes out of the ground pretty chunky. This stuff's hard as a brick. I mean, they actually make bricks out of this stuff. That's where it gets the term brick clay. Oh boy. Why is that showing a emissions failure? That's not good. Oh boy. Please don't conk out on me now. Making good progress. He is steadily pushing clay down here. I'm getting this material cut out and stockpiled here on the back of the pond dam. Just trying to get all this mud out of here so we have a nice, good, solid, dry base. Probably go up there and help him dig some more clay out. I don't know, he's still got a pretty good pile there. I like that I'm out of that rock, kind of into some more good clean material now. This will probably put it about 7 feet below, 8 feet below the pond bottom. So I've really dug this one out good just to make sure we got a good Good clean base here, and I'm happy with this. I don't see that rock anymore. All right, well, we're going to keep it real. We've had a breakdown. In fact, I think it's a very simple breakdown. It looks like a line has come loose that goes, looks like an air line, I guess, that goes to the emission stuff. But it looks like I can easily fix it, which is a good thing. So, I don't know what that squirrely thing does, but the fitting down here is loose on it, and I think it's causing it to throw a code. Yeah, look at that. That is definitely loose. All right, let me see if I can get that tightened up. That's our problem. I got the line tightened up, so maybe we're good to go. Look like something that just kind of rattled loose. I'll run it some and hopefully we'll be good to go. And it looks like the code is cleared. Whew. I'm telling you, it's the little things that just give you heart attacks. I was like, I don't have time for that to be a big problem right now. Luckily it was just a loose connection. Got that tightened up, and we are ready to haul some dirt. It was a horrible time too, right when I was digging the core trench, and all that groundwater was trying to rise. I was like 7 feet below the pond. Never a dull moment. All right, I'm gonna load up a load of dirt. We'll probably need to pack that lift in and go ahead and dump some in there. Bagging it in. Push all that in there and get all that filled in. That way that doesn't fill up with water, and get all that filled in. But you see, that's what we're stopping right there. Oh yeah, packing real good. That way he can dump that and go ahead and fill in those edges. That way we can get all that packed in there real good. And that should seal that off nicely. Coming along. So probably 2 or 3 more lifts and we'll be about 2 feet higher than the pond bottom, and my stress level will be down just a little bit more. Just trying to get all that filled in. I could not ask for this clay to be packing any better. I mean, look at it. It's just absolutely phenomenal. But that being said, it still doesn't keep the groundwater from up there coming down. So trying to get all that sealed off and raised up so that it won't be trying to flood or cut. Then I can finish digging the core trench and bale the rest of that clay over there and go ahead and get that put in place. And that side of the pond will pretty much be done. So it shouldn't take long, just little hiccups that just make everything take longer than it should. But we shall get it done. It just goes to show that it doesn't matter if the equipment's new or 25 years old, there's always going to be something. And I've had a problem with everything, the roller, the dump truck, this. Haven't had anything wrong with the dozer, knock on wood. Don't want to jinx myself. Just one thing after another. A couple problems with the fuel pump on my truck, getting fuel, had a short, had to get that fixed. Just how it goes. If it was fun, everybody would do it. Look how good that's packing in there. As soft and wet as that was, that truck is barely leaving a tire print now. I love it. We'll put another lift in there, maybe 2 more, and then we'll probably work on transferring this clay back and spreading it in there with the dozer, getting all that put in place before dark. We got about 2 more hours before dark. Well, this is probably going to be the last video for today. Sun is finally peeked down behind the trees, and I could actually take a video because it was just like straight in the windshield over the tree line there. So we got that filled into grade of the bottom of the pond, and now we are cutting the clay out from the far side and using it in this side of the pond dam. And that'll kind of give us a better idea tomorrow of how much clay that I need to dig out from up there. It only made sense to cut out everything that I possibly could from the pond site before getting it from up there. And this one isn't going to be, it's going to be more of a gentle slope than the other one, just because of the material that's under this clay. I'm trying not to get into that, so I'm not able to cut as much as I really wanted to over here, but I'm still being able to get a fair amount. So every bucket full that I can cut out from this side is one less bucket full that I've got to get from that hillside over there. Plus, it's one less bucket full that I've got to dig out of the pond and fill the hole back in. So every bucket full that I can get from over here saves me 2 bucketfuls over there. So we're going to work till dark, then go get some fuel and fuel everything up, and start again dark and early in the morning. We should get, I feel like we can get majority of the pond dam built tomorrow, and then that leaves Saturday to get all that topsoil out, haul it up there, and get it out of the way. So we're finishing out today. Sun's about gone. I've got the majority of that dirt right there moved over here and spread out. And we'll go ahead and roll this lift in and probably lay that last little bit up here this evening. And we'll get that spread out. And then tomorrow we'll start cutting more out from up there and bringing it down here.